Hi, I'm Dobby, but you can call me Dabz.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
So today I will be doing a book/movie review of The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This well-loved coming-of-age story is about an introverted Charlie who is entering high school. He writes to an unnamed friend as he deals with his traumatic past, including a friend's suicide. And he meets a new group of seniors that become his closest friends and introduce him to a world of wallflowers that he could never imagine. So I'm going to start with like a book review first, and then after that, towards the middle of the video, I'll switch over to my thoughts about the movie. But I read this book probably around a year or two ago. I will say that there are a lot of trigger warnings in this book. There's like a lot. I can't name all of them off the top of my head right now, but I would, if you're someone who gets easily triggered by certain heavy subjects, I would look them all up before you read the book or watch the movie. On that topic, however, I do feel like this story, it almost tried to cover too many topics. It only scraped the surface on a lot of them rather than going deeper on only a few of these topics. However, I did appreciate the effort to try and cover everything because a lot of these heavy subjects are things that happen in real life, in teenage life, and they shouldn't be avoided. And the author did do a very good job of stating things very clearly. Like, he didn't beat around the bush. He said what happened in the story very clearly, and I thought that I appreciated. But I do think that he almost tried to talk about too many of these like topics in such a short story. So one thing that I loved about this book is our main character, Charlie. I thought that his story was outlined very well in this book. It's told from his letters to this unnamed friend, and I think that that helped me feel a lot closer to him as a character. And his voice was also very apparent in these letters. So the way that it was written was intriguing, but it was also, in some parts, it could be written immature or childlike, just the words that he used or the way that he formed his sentences. And it really helped me remember the kind of character that our narrator was. Another thing that I appreciated was the other characters. So it was clear that Charlie was the main focus of our story, but the other characters, namely Sam and Patrick, who are Charlie's closest friends that he makes in this book, were, I thought, very fleshed out. I thought that we were able to see their backstories just to the point where we can understand what made them them. And I think that that's part of what made the book so interesting, is that we're able to see these other stories, and it kind of emphasizes one of the morals of this book, that we are all different people and we all struggle and we all have these problems. And I think that it was an amazing choice to kind of go deeper into these two characters while making Charlie, like leaving Charlie as our main focus. And then finally, I thought that the ending was perfect. I thought that the way that the author revealed details about Charlie's story and his life leading up to the ending was like masterful. And it really makes sense at the end. And I can't really say anything else about it without spoiling it, so just read it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the movie of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And the movie I watched very recently. I watched it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And honestly, I loved it a lot. I thought that it was filmed so beautifully. I love the way that it made me feel. I thought that, of course, part of the reason was because of the actual story and the things that were happening, but the way that it was filmed just made me feel, the best way to explain it is it was very teenager. The feeling of being a wallflower, the feeling of finding a group that you truly love, the feeling of being almost like feeling cool hanging around older kids, because Charlie's like a freshman and he's like hanging around seniors. It all was almost nostalgic to me, even though I'm still in high school. It felt very high school, and I thought that that was a big important part of the story. I also thought that the actors did a fantastic job. Emma Watson's American accent is so bad. It's so bad. But I felt that she did a great job, and all the characters were fleshed out in the same way as the book, I thought. There was one scene where it's kind of like an iconic scene where like Emma Watson's character says something to Charlie, and like I honestly started tearing up just because of the way that it was filmed, the actors, like the story. It just like was perfect in that scene, and it like hit me hard for some reason. The only difference that I did notice about the characters was that Charlie's family wasn't as deeply explored in the movie, especially his siblings, because in the book, there is kind of an important scene with Charlie and his sister, and also Charlie and his brother have a very complex relationship. And the book, I think, handled sibling relationships very well in the way that it explained that they're difficult and they're all different. And I feel like that might have been a missed opportunity in the movie. I wouldn't have minded the movie to be a little longer just to cover the family part, like Charlie's family part of the story. I thought that was an important aspect of the book that just was missing in the movie. So because of how the movie was narrated, some parts of the movie I felt were a little bit less clearly stated. So Charlie is still seen writing these letters to his friends, but it seems a lot less like we're in Charlie's head, and it seems more like we're observing a friend group. And I'm not sure if I'm just not perceptive, but I think I only realized, like, there's like this reveal at the end, and I think I only realized what happened because I had read the book before. I think that a lot of the especially heavier topics were a lot less bluntly stated in the movie than they were in the book. The movie had an amazing soundtrack as well, and part of this is because of the importance placed on music in this story, which I loved because I recognized a lot of the songs, which I think that just makes it a little bit more fun to watch or read when you recognize the literature or the music that's mentioned in it. But I feel like also, besides the soundtrack adding a lot to the movie because it's the music that's in the movie, I also felt like talking about and bonding over music is another like teenage thing that isn't such a dark topic. I feel like that's an important thing to mention. Charlie also bonds with his teacher over books, and I think like music and books and that kind of like media and literature and bonding over that is such a teenage thing, and that added to the like nostalgia and like high school feel of the movie as well. I think that one thing that the book and the movie both did an amazing job of was keeping this hopeful feeling. Despite the difficult themes that were addressed throughout the story, I didn't feel like despair or emptiness. At the end of the story, or even throughout the story, I still felt like things would be okay for the characters, things would turn for the story, which is exactly what I think the author wanted to achieve. Like, I still felt hope. I still felt like there was a light at the end of the tunnel almost. So overall, I would recommend both the book and the movie. I think that if you have only seen the movie or if you've only read the book, you should 100% see the other one. It truly is two different experiences. Like, some movie or show adaptations are a direct copy and some are so different. And I think that the movie adaptation is a fresh take on the book, but it's not too different from the book. And I think that it's just worth seeing both. And I might be biased because this is how I did it, but if you are going to see both, I would read the book first, but I might just be biased because I read the book first. But I think that that might be the best way to experience it. So the movie I rated 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. The book I read very long ago, so I don't remember much of it. I think I would rate it 4.5 stars, maybe 4 stars. Logistically, I think the book might cover more stuff, like with Charlie's family and stuff. I think the book is better in that aspect, but just pleasure-wise, I enjoyed watching the movie more, so that's why I think I'd rate it 4.5 versus this is like 4.25. So that would be the end of my book/movie review of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. If you like this video, please like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and happy reading. Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Chbosky. And I also thought that oh my god. Okay, this is the real one. It feels too. Let me redo this. I messed this up. I did well, or it would have looked weird. Just cut this out, actually. Here, I'll redo this. And I forgot to mention, one of the scenes, it was I'll mention it later, actually.